It's rolling.
God, hey, shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises
Unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chakwadash.
Double honor to our apostles, to our elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth, sincerity. This Rob Moff, and we got the Nebraska camp here. Just doing a walk and talk, man. Open forum. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot going on. You know, one of the things that came upon my spirit, just meditating on what I wanted to bring out was, I was just thinking about the wiles of the devil, the different variations and tactics Satan is bestowing upon our people, So we get that in Sirach starting out, never trust our enemy, because I was reading, and you have a bunch of events, but I was reading this book as a recent called The Medical Apartheid. I mentioned in a few lessons. And, you come to realize through history repeats itself. And there's a culture that's developed from history that we don't even know about. Just going back to the idea of the monkeys in the cage that try to climb up to the ladder and spray with water. Then they pulled all the monkeys out and put new monkeys in, and eventually all of them was doing, fighting, making sure nobody climbed the ladder and don't even know why. So that being said, man, I was I was, in that book they was talking about how Esau was experimenting on Jake, man, for the sake of medicine, and they was doing all kind of shit, man. Like I was telling the brothers, they 5 gallons of boiling hot water on Jake's back because he had the flu. They had a kid that had an injury, and it was like a minor injury, like not even a hernia. It was like, he passed out or something. It was something lightweight. And Esau decided to amputate this man's testicle, just to do it. Another occasion where he amputated Jake's leg for no reason. It was like a sore foot or, a rolled ankle. And he decided to do it because he had people around. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like, oh, I just want to be evil. He's just naturally evil, but he wanted to show off his surgeon skills, And I say all that to say that it became a stigma to where Jake didn't want to go to the doctors, man. You know what I'm saying? That's and make you think about today's time. That's my spirit's like, yo, man, like that's not like no random thing. Jake, through the spirit and it's handed down from, I ain't going to no damn doctor, you know what I'm saying? He'll do nothing but make me sicker type shit. And it's always been like that. Just like 2020, man. It's the same thing. Another thing I wanted to say that they was doing a whole bunch of shit. It was a whole bunch of things they were doing. But one of them was the autopsies. You know what I'm saying? Which goes on to this very day. The kid that got rolled up in a gym mattress and his organs taken out, there was grave robbing. And they had Jake, they was hiring Jake to go around there and go into graves so they can do an anatomy on the body. Your ass in science class thinking Esau a genius. Meanwhile, he was using you as Frankenstein. Yeah. And pretty much there was a saying that a woman walked past a hospital and was like, just let me make it to summer, because in the winter is when they did a lot of their autopsies, man. You know what I'm saying? Which is and it was pretty much taking Jake. And they even passed a law where you were only able to use hardened criminals. Those are the only people, or if you was an organ donor type stuff, if you volunteered, or if you was a hardened criminal. And then you got the systematic racism where Jake was going to jail for shit, bull, BS. You know what I'm saying? And they often attack Jake because Jake didn't have a voice in society, man. So, it went back to N-Dub, man, the nigga woman, man. They went back to her because the N-Dub always like to run to the hospital. You know, you got to sneeze, cough. You know, your kid's sick. You know what I'm saying? You hurry up and running, and then you believe in whatever the doctor say. But meanwhile, they was using, especially the N-Dub, she was catching a lot of it, man. You know what I'm saying? And that shows how misguided and manipulated she has been, because she still runs to the hospital. But Jake, men, they don't go. Okay? And that shows you, and that's the Wiles of the Devil, and there's a cultural effect. All right? People don't just do things for nothing, man. There's a history to it, man. Okay? So let's get that in Sirach, Babakasha.
It's Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Yeah. What does that mean? That rust's going to keep coming back. All right? Go ahead.
Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
Yeah, because even with that you know, that medical apartheid situation, they were it was easy for them to do medical experiments on Jake because they were slaves. Okay? And it was crazy because it was a point that Jake was always the subjects of hospital activities, right? But then it dramatically dropped. Esau was like pretty much helping them out for free. And they said pretty much, we'll give you the remedy long as you let us experiment on you type stuff. And it wasn't a choice because you were a slave. So it's really the master that was allowing that to happen, right? And if they, you know, pretty much they're going to try anything on you. You got a headache. Nigga got Tylenol. But it's like, I'm not about to use that. I'm about to use some new shit to see if that works. And then if it works, then they use that and say, oh, I got this newfound drug that cures people. 2020. Okay?
Precept?
Yeah, Babu Shah.
This is Ecclesiastes 7:29. Lo, this only have I found, that the Most High have made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions.
Yeah, many ideas, but hey, Esau wasn't made upright. You know what I'm saying? We were made upright, and our people, especially the nigga women, sought out many inventions of, you know, running to Esau for answers. You know what I'm saying? And they used this that medical you know, what the book's called medical apartheid, but the medical genocide and warfare, man. All right? Again, there was pretty much Dr. Frankenstein and Jake, man.
Okay.
And tearing them up, man. And when Jake was freed and it was emancipated, that changed the hospital scene. Jake wasn't getting no care then. And then they'll say, oh, they was dying and all this. Yeah, Jake was dying because they had, you know, they died early because they had natural diseases that they couldn't pay for. You know what I'm saying? But like the dude was saying, it was ironic that when Jake went to the military, they weren't dying nowhere near as much as Esau was. You know what I'm saying? But then when they was free, they was dying at a younger age because they didn't have any like help. And the help that they had, they was gonna try to experiment on you. You know, so even though you'll last long, as they still be, you know, doing experiments on you. You know, the whole idea of a zoo came from that, man. Came from the medical field, because the original people that was in the zoo, it was like an innovative idea. Once they already established the zoo, you know, they said, hey, you know what would be a good idea to add onto the zoo if we had actual animals in here, because they were using them pygmies. They was going to the Congo and Australia, and they were shaving and filing down these people's teeth, gave them a bow and arrow. Okay? The Wiles of the Devil, man. You know, let's get that as well, just so we could, you know, pull that out.
This is Ephesians 6:11. It says, put on the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Yeah, and we have to put on the whole armor, man. Can we, Bible Kashai, get the armor, please? You know? Because we're supposed to have ourselves armored up, man. And that's the problem. Because the scriptures tell you about the physician. We can get that as well. The scriptures tell you about how to handle situations. So if you're ever confused, in doubt, in fear, you're supposed to go to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai for the answer, man. And at some point, our people has lost their way because of all the wickedness Esau has been doing. I know.
Going down to 14. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness.
Yeah. Loins girt about with truth, your innermost bowels. You know what I'm saying? You go ahead, brother.
And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
Yeah, you walking in the gospel, man. You walk it how you talk it or receive it.
Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Yeah, because there's going to be a lot of things that are cast out, make you worry, make you do things that are negative towards your faith. And you got to use faith to protect yourself, okay, as a defense, so you don't make rash decisions,
And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit.
Our mind's supposed to be on salvation, man. Our mind's supposed to be on getting the hell up out of here. And our eye's supposed to be single towards that, okay?
And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High.
And that's our offense, okay? And it's a double-edged sword, so you can get cut yourself as well as hurt somebody else, all right? But that was our offense, okay? So these things we're supposed to utilize, all right? Because Esau, the wiles of the devil, Esau is constantly using his tricks and his wiles. Okay, let's get that word wiles, Baba Kashan.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He uses his wiles to get you to do things. Ain't no different from Satan and Job, man. All right?
It's Strong's G 3180, and the word looked like method almost. But it looked like the Greek word looked like methodia, and it says cunning arts, deceit, craft, and trickery.
Propaganda, okay? They'll tell you, here it is, within the medical field alone, they'll tell you, oh man, you'll be like, oh man, I seen this on YouTube, but it's tincture, and it's like, I had people tell me, especially in the medical field, they'll get mad and say, YouTube, here it is, you got people with degrees, and y'all think YouTube is the answer. You can't find everything on the internet.
Yeah.
But when you go to, so you about to say something, brother?
No.
Yeah, so when you go into the old school tinctures, it's the same shit we use to this day. Whiskey. That's what they was preserving organs and all that in. Whiskey, man. They'll chop Jake's head off and keep it. You know what I'm saying? All kind of wickedness Esau was doing. And then they'll justify it in some type of way. And the propaganda they'll use, they'll sound like the good Samaritan. The Sloan building at the Nebraska Medical Center, there's a cancer research area called the Sloan. That nigga was wicked as hell, man. Like they had I don't think it was a Jake. It was one of those I think it was Japheth, because those pick means really go back to Japheth, low key. You know what I'm saying? And she had cancer, and pretty much she was like, I'd rather die. You know what I'm saying? Because the surgery it hurt too much. Because nigga, y'all don't use no fucking anesthesia. Different type of medicines to alleviate the pain. They say Jake, in one breath, they'll say Jake was so animalistic, because that's what they were trying to do that in many angles to justify their wickedness. So that's where the Darwinism came from, to say, oh, we're close to the apes and stuff like that, to say, oh, well, they're animals, so it doesn't make any difference.
So how they, at one time they said we was 3/5 of a man.
That's where that concept came from, because it gives you the ability. Well, the 3/5 of a man slowed it down.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the same thing. They was just progressively lightening it up. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like they'll do it, and they had like Edomites, or probably Jake, that were Edomites, feeling bad and protesting against it. You know what I'm saying? And speaking out against it. And eventually, the 3/5 of a man slowed them down, because it wasn't like legal for them to do certain shit. But it still allowed them to, I could do an autopsy on you, but I can't kidnap you and chop your leg off. I can't, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it stopped that part, you know. But pretty much they say, okay, well, we don't have to use anesthesia on them because they're so primitive that they can't feel pain. You know what I'm saying? But then they'll say, oh, they're so dumb that they can't be no doctor. You know, the whole smallpox was solved by Jake. You know what I'm saying?
But that really don't make sense. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I'm not discounting it, but like, then why beat us during slavery? You know, what's the point in beating somebody because you know it hurts, and then turn around and say that they can't feel pain?
Yeah.
You know, it's an oxymoron to itself.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, because all their propaganda, and they do it to this day.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot at Jake, oh, he was a criminal. So you're using certain type of propaganda to justify what you're doing.
Whatever works for you at that time.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it that's the, you know, and that's why I say ain't nothing new under the sun. It'll put it in perspective. Oh, man. We got to go and get him because it's drapetomia. You know, there was another one where it was another where they diagnosed you psychologically because you didn't want to go to the hospital because you was getting scientifically manipulated, and they diagnosed it as a disease. So therefore, it gave them leisure to continue to do it or lock your ass up in an insane asylum because they say you pretty much sick in the head.
Yeah.
Because a doctor, you know, one of their Dr. Frankenstein saying, oh, I found a new disease, when it wasn't. Sickle cell anemia. You know what I'm saying? It's it was said within that book, you know, I can't say if it's, you know, how true it is or not, but it seems plausible. But they said, like, sickle cell anemia is a Israelite disease, right?
Yeah.
Mostly Jake get it. But that's what they're saying because they're the ones diagnosing it, right?
Yeah.
And they're saying within the book that Esau, when they diagnosed Esau, they considered it a blood problem. Not a blood disease, not sickle cell.
Right.
So when you put that in history books and stats,
Okay.
you're labeling that, oh, it's mostly the blacks. When Esau had it too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was because of like low iron, you know, like the environment that they were in. I forget the I think it's like niacin or something like that. It was like the area and the nutrition that Jake was getting. They were so poor that they couldn't afford certain things, and so these things were being passed down. You know, because that made me doubt genetics at a point. You know what I'm saying? How they'll say, you know, certain things are hereditary. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you really think about it, it's really your environment. It ain't hereditary. Mm-hmm. If your mom has high blood pressure, if your mom is on crack and she have you, nigga, you're gonna have crack in your system. Yeah. So if your mom's diet is horrible, you're gonna be born with with an accelerated bad diet. So you're gonna catch diabetes faster than Esau would because you're eating pork, because everything got salt in it. I was talking to the brother, you know, the whole design of a McDonald's. Any McDonald's meal is a clusterfuck of death, okay? Because the main two things that'll kill you as a human being is salt and sugar. Mm-hmm. You know, salt and sugar. So, especially high fructose sugar, not your natural sugars like apples and strawberries, but we're talking about when you process it, you break it down, extract it as a concentrate, and then dump it back into a liquid. Or Kool-Aid, Kool-Aid, or not Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid is actually more healthier than a Sprite, man. You know what I'm saying? Because the amount, because again, they concentrated. Yeah. The amount of sugar that's in a can of Mountain Dew is in a jug of Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And you would kill 2 cans.
Back to back.
2 little bitty cans. So where's all that going? Yeah. It's still that same amount of sugar being dumped in your body all at once. Yeah. And it gets stored in fat cells and into your blood because it has nowhere to go. Yep. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you're drinking Mountain Dews back to back. Jake used to clear them hoes. And that's Mountain Dew. We ain't talking about the RCs. Man. You know, the dye, Red 40, you know. So getting back to what I was saying, like, sugar causes plaques in the arteries. Because what else causes fat? Fat causes plaque in the arteries. So you sitting there like red meat. That's why red meat will mess you up so bad, because the ratio of fat and meat. Okay, that's what make red meat so good. That's why Wagyu is so good, because it's a decent blend of fat and meat. Okay, so red meat, that's your burger. You got the sugar, the glucose, that's your fat. All right, you got your ketchup, that's your fat. All right, then the meat, how you preserve the meat. Any ancient preservatives was what? Sodium, salt.
Yeah.
Okay, and these burger patties, they come frozen, man. They're naturally going to be preserved. All right, these burger patties ain't supposed to. You go to the store and go get that the ground beef. Right, go get the regular ground beef and make a patty out of it, and then put it in the refrigerator. That shit ain't gonna last long, man. Okay.
Yeah.
But these burgers, you can keep a burger in a box, and the fucking expiration date is months. That's not how meat works.
Yeah.
Right? So you got hella sodium in all that from the bread, because you could tell us how much a preservative is. We seen when people did experiments and saved their burger for years,
Yep.
and it looked exactly the same. It's because
like
of
yesterday's burger.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the preservatives. They ain't nothing but sodium enriched foods. So you're getting, then you got the Sprite, hella sugar, your fries, anything that you deep fry in canola oil is bad enough. And then anything you deep fry, especially potatoes, it turns into a carcinogen.
Mm-hmm.
Once it hit a certain amount of degrees, then what's on that? Salt. You know what I'm saying? And that's
what you dipping it in? Salt.
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar.
Ketchup. Nothing but fucking hella sugar in there, and hella salt from the preservatives. Cause that's where you get your hypertension, all right, inflammation, and you're just knocking these back. You know what I'm saying? And it don't do enough to actually fill you up.
Yeah, exactly.
You ain't get no nutrients out of it.
No nutrients, so your body's gonna still be starving for something.
It's just converting it straight to fat and going to store up in your cells, and then you right back to being hungry once again with no nutrients, eating the same shit.
Now you're catching cancer. Now you can't focus.
I found out my cousin had diabetes at the age of 6. I'm like, damn, I didn't know you could be that young and have diabetes.
And they'll call it hereditary. It's not hereditary. It's because more than likely the parents was eating bad, and they kept feeding the kid candy and this and that, and it's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're eating, like Elder Yashawama said, you're eating nutrients and getting tired. How the hell are you supposed to get the itis you're supposed to get energy from eating food, not the itis.
Yeah.
Okay? So that shows the wickedness. But if you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to go with the Lord, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right? The ratio of meat Jake is eating, all this propaganda, Arby's, we got the meats. You shouldn't need that much meat. We didn't have all that meat on our plate because, in all actuality, nigga, to get some meat, bro, like who's producing all these fucking chickens and cows?
I got a precept, bro. It says, Ecclesiasticus 37:29, be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats.
There you go. Nor too greedy upon meats, meaning like you're supposed to have a limit. You're supposed to be stoic. Okay, you're supposed to have some type of self-control, Like one thing I picked up on, it's a really good book, 365 Days of Self-Discipline. It said, hey, instead of having these big-ass plates, make your plates smaller. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a play on the mind. You have a small plate, you can't overfill the plate, and the plate's going to look full.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So instead of having these big-ass bowls, big-ass plates, get you smaller plates, and you're going to make your meal smaller. And just don't eat after that.
Yeah.
But it takes discipline. But we're in a world full of the wiles of the devil where there's no discipline that exists, man.
To the point where they even put colors on the fast food that trigger you to want that food. You always talk about the popcorn pump in the vents, and when you at the movies, that's trickery.
Yep.
To get you to consume. And, because then you're going to get that popcorn. You want butter? Hell yeah, I want butter. So they hitting that motherfucker,
But fucking You know what I'm saying? Fat.
Gotta get a drink.
Butter is straight milk fat. Straight milk fat. You know what I'm saying? You might as well take a red meat steak and then chew the fat off of it. That's what butter is. It's just straight milk fat. You know what I'm saying? That's you wonder why Jake is. That's all they're eating.
Yeah.
On top of processed food. If you're cooking bacon.
Yeah.
You're cooking with canola oil.
Hot dogs.
Cooking hot dogs. You know?
I actually started backing up from hot dogs and sausages and shit because that's completely processed. Lunch meat, I don't buy that shit. I go to the deli and get my shit cut.
Well, even that, deli meat is better because that packaged meat.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, processed food is exactly what it's called.
Yeah, exactly.
It's already processed. Meaning, if I ate something and I shitted it out, that's processed food. The shit is the processed food.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, it's not no food. It's the processed fecal matter. All right? That's the end all be all to that situation.
Yeah.
So when you're eating stuff out of a box, that stuff had to go through a machine. The grind it down, that's the teeth.
Yep.
Okay? I seen a guy that did a video on it, man. It was dope. He explained, like, you put it in this machine, it separates this nutrient from that nutrient, that's the kidneys. And then you do this, and it does that, and it does this, and it breaks it down to a liquid, that's the liver. And then it's like, and at the end, you get the last product, the high fructose or the concentrate, whatever, that's your processed food. And you're dumping it's like, I like to think of it as if you have a 5-pound log that's about as tall as me. I'm 5 foot, whatever. So if there's a log that weighs 5 pounds, right, or let's say 20 pounds, it'll be like, well, let's say 50. You can lift it up. But if you have a tennis ball that's 50 pounds, that's very difficult to pick it up. So that's the same thing you're doing with your body.
Dense.
That's a perfect word. It's the density of those materials or those minerals that you're pumping into yourself all at fucking once. That's like downing a bottle of Henny compared to you drinking it throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? When you take processed foods, but Esau, push it out. Oh, it's easy. It's wonderful. It is. And then you get cancer, diabetes, whether, allegedly, let's say it like that, because of their medical, because they're in defense of their wickedness through their medical misinformation bullshit, okay?
Yeah.
Alzheimer's, okay, is allegedly linked to sugar, okay? We all know diabetes is linked to sugar. Hypertension is linked to sugar and salt, okay? What else? What other diseases there are out there?
Dementia.
Dementia is around the Alzheimer's. You know what I'm saying? All that is linked to.
Oh, that video you sent about the autoimmune.
Arthritis and shit.
Arthritis. That's the inflammation of the joints.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And pretty much it goes from acute to chronic. That's all it does. You know what I'm saying? Like, and hella mucus. I guarantee you, if you go on a sugar fast, your mucus will go away. All that come from mucus, and mucus buildup comes from sugar.
Yeah, I was just watching something. It's like your body builds up the mucus to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got all that shit in your system. Your body creates the mucus to kind of like engulf it to protect you from the toxins.
Yeah.
Yep.
But excess mucus.
And then like mucus isn't good. You don't want it all up in you, but your body is trying to save you.
It's trying to defend it, but you're loading your body up with it. Like your body, it's a screen door. Your whole house ain't supposed to be made of a screen door.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Like, that's just meant for the front. Like, your house is going to be weak at that point.
Yeah.
And then
vulnerable.
And then when you take all that mucus in and then you get infected, that mucus now it's infected and then it's going out. That's why when that 2020 came, everybody was like, why everybody taking all the toilet paper? What you need toilet paper? To spit out the fucking mucus. Idiot. Y'all niggas swallowing y'all boogers. You done told everybody on planet Earth that you swallow your boogers. That since you don't know why nobody getting toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? Because once you, them head colds starting to head. Once you start swallowing that mucus instead of spitting it out immediately, it goes down and turns respiratory, and that's when it goes into your lungs and turns to the flu or SARS.
Yep.
Okay, and that's how that process hits. You know what I'm saying? And Jake just run to the doctor because they got this cure, but you don't know that cure has a side effect when you can just take the natural herbs of the earth and heal yourself.
Take some Mucinex.
Yep. And Mucinex now is drying and dehydrating you and shit, and now you got to find minerals and whatever to counteract that, and then you got to take this to counteract that. You know, that's why when you get on one medication, it eventually going to lead you to another.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's crazy because I'm thinking of the concept of a lie. If you tell one lie, you got to tell another lie, then another lie, then another lie. It's just like taking this damn shit that the devil puts out there, man.
Yep. So, shit, who got that?
Yeah, I got you. This is Sirach 38 and 12. It says, "Give place to the physician, for the Lord hath created him. Let him not go from thee, for thou hast need of him."
Yeah, so we do need doctors, but it don't end right there because, we're the physicians. All right? Why I say that? Because the men of the Lord, the Levites used to be the physicians of Israel, man. Okay, even in history, in the U.S. history, like I said, Jake were coming from, west coast of Africa. They call them witch doctors, but it was Jake practicing their medicine, and they didn't respect them, man. Like I said, this nigga too dumb. He's too stupid to know how to do this, even though you don't know.
Yeah.
You was practicing like so-called we were practicing. Because you was playing Frankenstein on Jake, so you didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't play Frankenstein on somebody if you know something. You don't experiment on something that you know how to fix. Like when you try to find a solution.
Verse 13. There is a time when there's a time when in their hands there is good success. For they shall also pray unto the Lord, that he would prosper that which they give thee for ease and remedy to prolong life.
Yeah. Now, when the last time you before you went under anesthesia, did y'all do a Christian prayer circle before with the doctor? Them doctors 9 times out of 10 don't even believe in the Most High, man.
Yeah.
Because they think they're God. Like there's no way a Edomite at that level would believe in the Most High when he got the power to open you up and save your life.
Yeah. I'm God unto you.
Yeah.
I decide whether you live or die.
Yep.
With my hands.
Yep. Somebody like that, there's no way he wouldn't have a complex. And I worked in hospitals, man. The doctors are the most rudest, arrogant people you would ever walk across in that hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you work there, to even damn near look them in the faces, damn near they take it as disrespect. They'll walk right. You'll be in a room, they'll walk right past you, won't say a word. I have never spoken to a doctor. They don't say hi. They don't do none of that. You better not talk to me. Who are you to talk to me?
You better address him as doctor.
Yeah. Nigga, you Rick, nigga.
Dr. Rick.
Your name is Rick. Like, I don't care. That's between you and what you do.
Right.
Nigga, I know you as Rick.
Verse 15, it says, "He that sinneth before his maker, let him fall into the hand of the physician."
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, healings and cursings come from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So, ultimately, prayer is, even when we're taking our natural remedies, we're supposed to be praying, man. Okay? We're supposed to pray over our food, pray over our medicine, pray for healing. Okay? Pray for answers.
Yeah.
Instead of just running to Esau, the Frankenstein physician, man.
And that was it to that.
It's a quick fix at the end of the day. Jake don't. Then you tell him about the herbs and the spices and all of these different things. Oh no, that's too much. Or that, like, this is cheaper than the shit that they're gonna be charging you for.
Yeah, well, there should be more on there. It said, because they said the healing comes from the earth. You know what I'm saying? That's Sirach. You know, can you find that? It's in the same deal. Because it said that the medicines come from the earth. Garlic, ginger, you know, cayenne pepper, turmeric. Okay? You know what I'm saying? The natural things you eat will naturally heal you. Okay? The natural things of this earth. But Esau got you all tied up where you don't got time to cook. You know, you've been conditioned to where you never had to cook.
Yeah. You just pop that shit in the wave.
Yeah.
Hit it with the radio.
And you don't even know how that meat's been treated. You know? Like Jake washed their meat, but once I like work in places, I really wash my meat. You know, dye in the meat, red dye. You know? And more than likely, that's that same red dye that goes to red 40. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Just me speaking as a man, assuming. But that, you know, red dye normally is red 40.
And
which causes that ADHD, attention deficit, and other cerebral diseases, man. You know?
And that shit is because you got all of them different colors, the yellow 5s, the red 40s, the blue 4s, some shit. It's like, and all, I seen a list of it, and all of them cause something different. And all of that, you take a box of fucking Nerds or Skittles, you got all them different dyes in that shit. Blow
And
your
sugar.
damn mind.
So it's accelerating through your brain, your blood.
Yeah.
With the sugar. This dude's a mad scientist, man. Okay?
Yep.
Spraying metals in the air.
Yeah, like
Shit breaking down your immune system. You know? Then they come, dun, dun, dun. We got a cure.
Yeah.
For this new disease you guys are going through. Meanwhile, they'll get on TV and tell you that they want to depopularize the earth, man.
Right.
Okay?
And you can't put one and one together.
Yeah. That's 1 and 1, even simpler than 2 and 2. Yeah, you can't put 1 and 1 together.
It's Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 4. The Lord had created medicines out of the earth.
Yeah, he created medicines out of the earth. Okay? Like I was speaking on niacin, man. You know, which is good for your blood vessels, man. Okay? Everything comes from the earth. It's just Esau puts it everything don't belong together, though. Okay? They putting steroids in a chicken. Like a chicken grows up in a month. Like a full-blown chicken.
Yeah.
That ain't right, man.
From a hatchling to a full-grown chicken.
Full-grown rooster. You know what I'm saying? In a month. Hell no, man.
Then wonder why these young girls out here with grown women bodies.
Yep.
It says, and he that is wise.
Jake out here fucking big ass backs and shit. You know? Hey, they got a book called Big Back of You I'm gonna get for my daughter, man. You know, so she can read it, you know? You know what I'm saying? Because it talks about all the big backs. You know, it's a scoffing book, but hey, you know, because kids need to read that, man. They don't know.
Yeah.
Like even the remember the periodic table.
Yep.
Right? What was at the bottom what you had to eat a lot? Anybody remember? The old periodic table, they changed it.
Oh, sheesh.
The base foundation was grains, bread.
The
food
period.
The food pyramid.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
periodic table, but the food pyramid.
Okay.
It was grains and bread at the bottom.
Yep.
And that's the worst thing you could fucking eat.
Mm-hmm.
Is the bread. Carbs. Sugar.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what's going to convert
And
you.
they're saying that you need to eat hell of that.
Break down and put you down.
when really the foundation of that food pyramid, which they switched it and corrected it, is fruit. And that's what's supposed to be at the bottom. But what was at the top? Fruit.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it's the sugar that was at the top, but fruit was like the one before the top. Straight, pure wickedness, man. All because of what? They want to make money.
All because of money.
Yep.
Like the scriptures say, the love of money is the root of all evil, man. That's all Esau wants. Just he want, because I mean, like he give us this bullshit money, but at the end of the day, resources is money. So he do whatever in his power to get these resources, man.
Yep, power and control, and he will not leave no grapes. So the ultimate resources he's trying to take over to human beings, man.
Yep.
And turn them into cyborgs, bunch of noob cybots, you know. But anybody got something else? That's you know, enjoy it.
Going back to something that you were talking about, the things coming from the earth. This is Genesis 1 verse 11. It says, "And the Most High said, Let the earth bring forth grass and herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so.
Yeah, so that's what the Lord created for us to eat. That's why we was cursed to till the ground. Okay, but at the end of the day, the foods of the earth, the natural things of what the Lord gave us, man. Like, surely you're turning up things upside down should be esteemed as a potter's clay.
Yeah.
Water, we gotta put minerals in water.
Yeah.
He fucked up the water, man. It's gonna be to the point he's already fucking up the air or messing up the air. We're gonna have to trying to find some type of mass so we can build up our immune system to breathe clean air, man. Work, how you supposed to work, sun go down, how you get money, how you get paid, relationships.
And this is why the Lord said the day is going to be shortened for the elect's sake, man, because it wouldn't nobody survive with what he's doing and trying to do.
Yeah, nobody know how to talk to nobody no more.
He's already killing the sociable part of humans. He make like he's really we're basically like robots.
We're half the strength. Not even that. We're a quarter of the strength of the niggas walking around with the curly mustaches on a steel beam. Nigga carrying steel beams.
On the steel beam with the steel beam.
On a steel beam with the steel beam having lunch. You know what I'm saying? You know, like we have been debased as human beings through his science.
Yeah. And the scriptures say that. The scriptures speak about the ones that came before us had more, was more in stature than all of that. We would be a lesser, and this is part of the reason why.
Yeah.
So
not all. So like you go ahead.
I'm gonna say with all of the wickedness that's going on and all his scientific shit that he's doing and all these radio waves and all what's that shit?
Wi-Fi or
the shit. Radio activity and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so much. Like radiation. There we go. Yep, radiation. Like I shouldn't have to find a video that tells me if I go deep into my iPhone that there's a warning about having it up to my head for a certain period of time. That's fucking crazy. Why you didn't tell me this when I bought it? Why I gotta go find this in my iPhone?
You charging it, and when you charge it emits radioactivity, breaking your ass down. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I tell my little ones, if y'all gonna be on your phone, don't be on your damn phone while you charging it.
Yeah.
But do they listen?
Side. Where you gonna charge it at? Next to your bed, pumping all that shit on your forehead?
Having sleep. Nightmares like a mother.
Wiggling. They suppress your dream. I believe Esau suppresses our dreams, man. Because in the scripture says, at night upon my bed, you know what I'm saying? Or the Lord speaketh to you in dreams.
Yeah.
And Esau knows that, man.
He got you. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Dreams.
Yeah. So like,
he give you, he sealeth your instructions.
Because me personally, bro, when I eat clean, I dream more. And I have vivid dreams, man. Like when I was younger. But it's like you got so much shit in you, and then you're an adult, so you either drinking or getting inebriated, and so your pineal gland is calcified, so your dreams don't come as vivid. You know what I'm saying? I clearly when I like I said, when I got on that diet and I was real strict on it, man, I was having dreams like every other day.
I got you out. Real quick. Ecclesiastes 31:20. Sound sleep cometh of moderate eating. He riseth early, and his wits are with him.
There you go.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? That's our armor, man.
Yeah.
That's proof of our armor. Let's get 1 Timothy 6:20, Bible shot.
It's 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 20. O Timothy, keep that which is committed to thy trust,
which is his truth, his gospel, the Bible. Okay?
avoiding profane and vain babblings.
All these ideas. They said bacon lowers calories.
Boy.
Lowers your cholesterol. Like, scientists have shown, doctors have shown propaganda.
And oppositions of science falsely so called.
Can we get the NLT to that? Oppositions of science falsely so called.
It says foolish discussions with those who oppose you with their so-called knowledge.
You see? You know what I'm saying? So they asking you all this, you know, and we're all equal. I pull up my pants. We got the same blood, and it's all these concepts. You got a degree and this and that, and it's like, nah, bro. It ain't right. It ain't right, man. You know, Esau always trying to articulate and bring a theory in, and his theory sounds right because the rules is based off of his idea. You know? Like if I create a game, then I can create the rules. And then within that concept, I can tell you if you're right or wrong. So when they separate you from the Bible and get you into science, then they can tell you you're being stupid because you're not taking this medicine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, you know, like you open up the Bible and says you're not. I'm going to pray about it. Oh, that don't mean you. So you're going to pray to somebody that you never seen and not trusting this thing that's in our hands right here. And it make you feel like you're stupid because in this society, they don't trust in the Lord. They trust in tangible and sensual things.
Yep.
So to the mass amount of people, you're an idiot for doing it. You know?
They trying to take faith out of the earth because they know that's that's what the just is going to live by.
Yep, the just going. Hey, I had that situation as a recent with my daughter, man. You know, she with her intake of food and milk intake, doctors like, oh, she's not gaining weight enough, which was true, but they said, okay, you got to do this. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like the doctor came to me and said, hey, your blood level says this. You got these problems with going on inside you. Okay. Well, you're going to have to take these medicines. Nah, I'm cool. Mm-hmm. Well, how you going to live? Nigga, I'm going to eat right.
Yeah.
Because there's a way that I got here. So if I do the opposite, I'm clearly going to get back out of here.
Right, precept.
You know? Yeah, Bible shot.
This is Job chapter 13, verse 4. It says, but ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value.
Yeah, they're physicians of no value. Chemotherapy is a physician of no value. It's a money-making scheme. Here it is. You'll give out that Jabberwocky for the free ski, but you ain't going to give out that insulin for free.
Man.
Cracking people over the head to live. But then all of a sudden, your double tongue, people need this. So people need insulin real bad. Really bad. They need it more than that Jabberwocky you was handing out for free. To this day, people still need insulin. Chemotherapy.
Before that jab was out, they needed it.
They needed a mass amount. You know? But you don't care. You know?
It's like your body creates those cancer tumors to protect you, you know?
Yeah.
And then what they do, they go and do that biopsy and they cut it open, and then all the cancer comes out of the opening that they created, and then it spreads out throughout your body. And then, it's gone too far, it spread it. But you the fucking one that spreaded it.
Yeah.
Got some nice spread.
And the thing is, just a side mission footnote, is that cancer was discovered by Jake, man. You know, putting metal into a hot dog and throwing it in the microwave, and they found out that it only singed the part that the metal was injected in. And that's where chemotherapy comes from. You know, and they weaponized it. You know, so yeah, man. With that being said, man, that's pretty much all I had. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, we gonna give all praises
to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Chakodash.
Double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.